Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live on Lakeside. Today's Tuesday, March 25th. I'm Michael Cardamone.
And I'm Holly Strano. So we're in the kitchen to start.
Yes, we
We're
are.
gonna put a spring in our step with some artichoke dip.
I think you can hear my belly rumbling.
Oh my gosh.
That's why we brought in
saying, this is like a
Stefanie
go-to.
Paganini, culinary expert,
Hi,
with
guys.
a delicious, may I say, spring dish?
Yes, you may.
Okay, what are you making?
So
Springy.
we're doing a lemon artichoke dip. So to start out with, we have a little bit of butter that we're sauteing in a pan, and to that we're going to add some shallots, which give us a nice onion, but because shallots are sort of a lighter onion flavor, it's not going to be as intense or heavy winter flavor.
If you are into onions that much, can you use onions in there? Does
For
it matter?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're not into onions, I personally don't like onions, so I wouldn't use onions in this recipe. I'd use garlic instead.
Oh, but that's good.
Yeah.
You don't like onions?
I know. They're going to take away my Italian card. I know. I don't like them. So in my pan, I have my butter, my shallots. I'm going to add artichoke hearts. Now, you can buy these canned. You can buy them jarred in olive oil and pull them out. Or you can buy them frozen, and they're great frozen.
Oh, I never did the frozen ones.
Yeah, so you can buy the artichoke hearts frozen. You throw them right into your pan, and we're going to saute them with our shallots and with our butter. So we want to cook this for a few minutes. We'll give it a little bit of seasoning with salt and pepper.
When you look at artichokes, do you have to look at anything in particular to make sure
They
that
are
they're...
very intimidating.
When
Like
you're
if
buying
seeing
the
like the
fresh
whole
ones,
one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, you want to look at, when you look at an artichoke, you want to make sure that to feel the bottom, make sure that the bottom isn't mushy. Then that's an old artichoke, because the leaves will dry out, so you won't necessarily know that that's rotten unless you feel the bottom. And you want to make sure it's a very bright, vibrant color. It will lose color as it sits for a while.
Okay.
So to this, we're going to add a little bit of white wine, and typically you would let that white wine kind of evaporate down. The white wine is adding a little bit of acidity to my vegetables here, so it's helping to break them down even faster and to give it a little bit of flavor.
Okay.
What we're going to do from here is we're going to put some other stuff in the Cuisinart, and then we're going to food process all of this together with that. So Michael, over by you, you have a little bit of sour cream. So if you want to throw that in for me.
Wait a minute. How do I get this off?
Holly, you may have to be back
good.
up.
Wait a minute.
There you go. There you go, honey.
You were just saying you have one in your house, right, Michael?
My wife has one in the
Rebecca,
house.
sorry.
I don't use this. I just clean it and put it away.
You're going to see how
That's
easy
good
it
too.
is.
Yeah. All right.
But
So
watch, there's
sour
a very
cream's
sharp
going to
blade
go
in it.
in.
I know. I washed that the other day.
Next to you, you have lemon juice.
Yep.
We're going to add an herbed goat cheese. Now, you can buy in your supermarket goat cheese that has herbs in it, or you can make your own. Throw a little tarragon, a little parsley, whatever you like in, and just blend that down first. Nope, that's the finished product. So then we're going to add
A for
some
effort.
That would have
lemon
really
zest.
been bad, because I'm hungry.
I like how you stop first, because otherwise we would have been
At
in
least
trouble.
I
questions.
learned.
And Holly, because you know what you're doing,
Do I
I'm
put
going to
this
let
in?
you put this in for
Hey.
seasoning.
Okay.
Yes, all of that in.
So not all of it. We're just putting in a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
And that's cayenne pepper, which can give it a little bit of an underheat. Again, we're building flavors. And then, of course, we've added some parsley. Now, carefully, you're going to dump that in there.
Yeah.
I got it. We're
What?
good.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And then we're going to turn that on, blend it down. The heat of those vegetables are going to melt that cheese for us, and we're going to end up with a really nice artichoke dip.
Wait a minute. Am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
You got it. Beautiful. Okay. So you'd pull that out, you'd put it into a container, you'd let it chill down a little bit, and this is your finished product.
Wow. So this is something you can make, refrigerate, use the next day.
Exactly. This is great for parties too. If you want to do like an individual portion like I have, or you can do a big one that you dip, and again, we're just putting a little bit of parsley on top. You make either your potato chips or crust, or these are just crostinis.
Anything.
That you can kind of dip into these.
I can't eat these right now.
Why? What's wrong?
Oh, does it bother you because it's so crunchy?
No. It gets really loud in the microphone.
Oh, you don't want to be...
Spanky yelled at me a couple of times, so you're welcome, Spanky.
Sure.
He said thank you in my ear, just in case anybody was wondering. I am not talking to myself. But this is a delicious way to eat this kind of
I don't know
dip.
what it is
Dip
about
and fun.
artichoke dip, but I feel like it is a go-to. Every time we go to a restaurant and that's on the menu,
Right.
artichoke dip.
And of course, if you do it for your family, you can have a little portion as your appetizer waiting for them, so they're
That's
eating
cute.
something while you're cooking.
That's great.
Loretta Paganini, School of Cooking in Chesterland, 440-729-1110, or go to their website, lpscinc.com.
Well, culinary expert Stefanie Paganini is in the kitchen today with a lovely springtime appetizer. This would be great to bring to a brunch, right?
Right.
Maybe just a party as an appetizer in general. I told her in the commercial break, anything wrapped in puff pastry becomes magic.
Yeah. Well, you know why it's magic? It's because it's so ridiculously easy.
It's elegant too.
It really is. So you're going to buy your puff pastry in your supermarket freezer. You can make your own and roll the 2 pounds of butter into it that you want to, but don't do it. The trick to puff pastry, the only thing you have to keep is make sure it stays cold.
Okay.
Because you want to keep the butter that's rolled into that dough, you want to keep it nice and cold so it doesn't puff up until it goes into the oven. Because what happens is your butter melts,
Sure.
the water in your butter turns to steam, and that's what puffs it up. So to get started, we took our puff pastry and we just cut it into strips.
Easy.
We are in officially asparagus season.
Love
Isn't that
asparagus.
great?
Yeah.
Ohio asparagus is now in.
Delish.
So you want to go to your local farmer's market. The asparagus that you're finding there is actually from Ohio. So it's a
that's
great
really
time
cool.
for asparagus right now. So we're going to take our asparagus. We're going to take a strip of prosciutto, which is Italian cured ham, and it's very salty. So it's actually going to give us all the salt we need for our recipe. And I just took that piece of ham and wrapped it right around the prosciutto.
Easy.
Now I'm going to take the puff pastry strip again, and I'm going to wrap it like a mummy right around my asparagus. Then this, I'm going to put onto a parchment-lined cookie sheet. I want to brush it with a little bit of egg wash because the egg wash is going to do 2 things for me. It's going to actually, an egg wash, for those of you that don't know,
Yeah.
it's 1 egg and a tablespoon of water
I didn't know
whisked
that.
together.
Okay.
I'm going to take it and I'm going to actually brush the whole dough with the egg wash. The egg wash does 2 things. 1, it's going to make it nice and shiny when it comes out of the oven. And 2, it's going to keep my dough on the outside moist so I get maximum puffitude on my puff pastry.
Puffitude is my new favorite word.
Isn't that fun? So you're
Yes.
going to get, so this goes onto your
Puffitude.
cookie sheet, all egg washed, and you want it in a really hot oven, 375 degrees, and it'll take 10 to 15 minutes at most to bake.
Easy.
So when this comes out, this is what it's going to look like when it comes out of the oven. I had a few that I made ahead of time. That's what you were
See?
smelling.
That's the
in
magic.
the oven. The beautiful,
Boom.
the shininess. Now, we don't want to serve it by itself. We want to make a little sauce for it, and that's where I need your help today,
Anything
Holly.
you need, yeah.
So in front of you is the food processor. We're going to throw in there that whole garlic clove. No sense in chopping it.
Okay.
We're going to put all those roasted red peppers. You can make your own roasted red pepper. You can actually buy it in a jar.
Sure.
We've got balsamic vinegar,
Got it.
all that olive oil that you see there, and then a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, and maybe a little parsley. Give it a little fresh flavor.
This is the pepper, right?
Yep.
Is it a white? It's a
It's
white
just
pepper.
a white pepper. You
Is that
can use
spicy or no?
Regular. No, it's the inside of the black pepper. It's just the black shell removed.
Okay.
For color or not.
Am I going the right
Flip
way?
it the other way. I know, isn't that awful? It's one of those things where on live TV, these things always
Got it.
never work. Okay. And then on you go. You're going to just keep blending that down and blending it down and blending it down. Once it gets all the way blended down, this is what it's going to look like. It's almost like a little bit of a orangey kind of color. And you can just
Easy.
either have that as like a dipping sauce for your asparagus, or you can drizzle it on top just like I
Like
did
you
with
did
the
there.
finished.
And so pretty and so helpful, really.
I know that you're
Really fresh.
saving for the dress, but you want to
Oh my gosh,
bite?
I'm having a bite, and I want to give you all the information before it's going in, because we're talking to Michael in a second. The Loretta Paganini School of Cooking is where you need to go. Boy, become a chef, because look at how beautiful all this is. In Chesterland, 440-729-1110. And the webpage is lpscinc.com. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, no problem.
Okay, there's still plenty of summer left, and nothing says summer like crisp.
How about blueberry
crisp,
crisp?
apple crisp, peach crisp, cherry crisp. Sorry.
Any more? Bubblegum shrimp?
Anything.
All right. Stefanie Paganini is here. Blueberry
them
shrimp.
I know, but it just reminds me of
Blueberry
summer.
crisp,
Thank you.
strawberry crisp.
Yeah.
Gumbo.
Gumbo crisp.
You can put any fruit with crisp on top, and it's delicious.
There you go.
That's true, and that is exactly why this is such a successful dessert. Because whatever fruit is in season right now is the one that you want to grab and put underneath this beautiful crisp topping. So in front of Michael is the fruit that is in season right now. We are in a blueberry season. We are heading from blueberry into peach, so if you want to mix and match, you could certainly add some wonderful fresh farmers market peaches to that, but you have blueberries in front of you. If you want to stir those with a little bit of granulated sugar and a little bit of cornstarch, what the cornstarch does is it mixes with
All of it?
mixes with the liquid once it goes into the oven, and it thickens it, so you get a nice goo as opposed to runny kind of watery juice.
Okay.
So while you're doing that, Michael's doing doing the filling, that's going to go right into this container. We want to make the topping for this, which is our crumble or our crisp. So when you're talking, a cobbler is usually a pie or a biscuit topping. A clairfouti is usually a pancake or a cake topping. A crumble or a crisp is basically an oatmeal cookie.
Okay.
So we've got flour in here. We're going to add equal parts of oats to our flour and an equal part of butter to our flour and oat mixture.
Now, if you're someone that's a little hesitant about baking, just my personal opinion, I feel like you can't mess up a crisp.
I think it's
one of those, like, sort of, you can just really show off and anyone can do this.
I agree, because it's supposed to look rustic.
Yeah.
It's supposed to bubble up over. So it's one of those desserts that looks sloppy, and it's the sloppiness that makes it look delicious. So I put in a little cinnamon and nutmeg. I'm adding a little brown sugar, and we would just mix this all together, which I'm going to let you do.
Music we're listening to, Spanky.
Blueberry
I feel like skipping.
I never hear them. How come you hear music?
Because I got a little thing in my ear.
These little things
I
that we wear.
This is
I thought
what
just
I
because
get yelled
I
at.
was in the
You're
building.
going too loud!
You got me in the building, and suddenly you hear music in the air.
That's right.
But no. All right, so if you want to put the blueberries in the container, and then what Holly's mixing together is going to end up looking like this, which is the butter and the flour and the oats all kind of mixed together. Now, there are two schools of thought on this. There are the people that coat all of it, and they're the ones that kind of sprinkle and just have it here and there.
Because then you see the fruit popping through.
Right, you like that one? All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to let you do that part then.
Okay.
And then once you get them done, now we're doing it in an individual serving size. So you can do them in little ramekins, or you can do a whole pie tin of it, or a lasagna pan, or whatever baking dish you have. You can use it and then scoop it into a bowl to serve it, along with
Elwood,
ice
I
cream
so wanna
or
eat
whipped
this, don't
cream.
you?
That goes in the oven, 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes,
I'm waiting
and you're
too
good to go.
Simple.
Yeah, what I did over here is I took a little bit of whipped cream with powdered sugar and just a little bit of vanilla, and I whisked it together, put it into a piping bag, and I just piped some fresh whipped cream on top of that. So you've got that cream and berries that's so reminiscent of that rustic Americana.
Yeah, like old school summer.
Achoo!
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to eat this whole thing.
Oh.
Sitting on the front patio, big pitcher of lemonade and some crisp.
Right. And it's so great, too, because right now, blueberries, I just saw them for $1 a pint.
I know, they're
It's
crazy
insane.
cheap
so
right now.
buy tons of them. You can freeze them, and you can be making blueberry crisps in January when you miss summer and you're depressed.
That's a great
And you have the
idea.
fresh blueberry
they're
flavor.
so good for you.
Yeah,
They're so good for you.
Wow. Live on Lakeside.com does this delicious recipe. Loretta Paganini School of Cooking in Chesterland, 440-729-1110, lpscinc.com for more information. Stephanie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Steph.
Always fun.